Can you sew this for me? Those 6 words are so ubiquitous in our community that there is even an Instagram account that's called Can You Sew This For Me that talks about all the things that people ask us when they find out we can sew. I'm Sean from Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse, and today we're going to talk about one of those things, and you get to see the end of the project at the end of the video. So hang on for that. Can you sew this for me? Usually that comes when people learn that we sew. So it's usually a few of the popular ones are, can you hem these pants? Can you alter this dress? Can you take this stack of t-shirts and make it into a quilt? Because I think that takes us about 30 minutes. Or can you take this fabric and just throw together some couch cushions or pillows? Well, it's the last one that I'm going to be doing today. And the request came from a friend of mine who absolutely knows and values my time and my expertise. And I was really grateful that she gave me a chance to do this. Again, do not start sending me things and asking if I can sew it. This is a special case for someone that I really enjoy. The project today is a needlepoint canvas that my friend did, and she wants me to turn it into a cushion that is going to go into a nursery of her great-grandbaby. I was flattered that she thought my skill level was up to something that would look really good in this nursery. And to be quite honest, it was something that I've done in the past. I have sewn cushions in the past, but never really liked them. They never had the right proportions. They weren't quite finished out enough. Today what we're doing is talking about adding cording, decorative cording, to a pillow or to a cushion. This video is chaptered, so if you want to jump ahead to the actual sewing or see what I'm doing with the machine, but we are going to have a few pieces of how we picked out the fabric and how it kind of went from start to finish. So enjoy.
So this is one of my favorite places to buy fabric. An upholstery shop like this is going to have obviously upholstered fabric and vinyl. What brought me here was the vinyl. When you're creating bags like I do, often places that sell purses or purse vinyl is going to have, it's going to be more expensive for a smaller piece. If you are going to an upholstery shop, especially one like this that has absolute beautiful stuff, you can pay about the same amount, and instead of getting a swatch of vinyl that's going to be 40 inches or 50 inches by 18 inches, you're going to get a full yard at the 50 inches. And I'll show you this this bag that I've got here. This was made for a friend. She's in college, and this matches her college colors. I got the vinyl here, and I still have a lot of vinyl left to go from that initial swatch. So, like I said, we're looking primarily for perhaps this green or even one of these golds. So let's go this way, and we're gonna look at the greens. This was one of the colors I was thinking about. It really picks up nicely. Again, we're going with something that has kind of a jungle theme or a wooded theme. There's lots of green, but there's also lots of really mild tones, lots of creams in the room. So I'm afraid that this might be going too much in that direction, and we're getting away from it. Now this, I'm thinking that maybe this green, maybe 2 different tones of the green might be the thing. But I mean, look at how warm and wonderful this is. I mean, that's really quite beautiful. My only concern is that this is a velour, and babies like to vomit all over the place. Do we want to put that? Do we want to risk it? We already have a really treasured piece of art here that from the great grandmother who made this. So as much as I like this, I might pass on the gold, or I might pass on the velour. If it were not in a nursery, I think maybe we could do it. In fact, I think we totally could do it. It just, I don't know. We're going to need to go with some anti-puke fabric. So let's keep shopping. Now, I just said that we're going for some anti-puke fabric, but I mean, we came right in here to the green. So, I mean, we've got some nice stuff here. These greens would totally work. again, though, we're in that velour, and it's like if you put velour in a nursery, where's the first place the baby's going to puke? Well, probably on dad or mom. But secondly, they're going to puke on this pillow. So we're gonna. I don't know. It feels so soft, though. I don't know. I may come back to this. We'll see if I talk myself out of it or into it. So this is the vinyl that I used to make the purse that I just showed, or the crossbody bag. You can see that you've got lots of width here, and you've got a really nice thickness vinyl. So yeah, this is definitely budget conscious. What we at here? So this is just under $16 for a yard of this. I usually will pay about that same price for about half of that if I'm buying this from someone who sells purse vinyl. I get lots of stuff from people like that, from shops. I support their shops wholly. But whenever I can do something like this and get additional fabric, you've got to take advantage of it. You should always be looking for all different ways to get your vinyl so that you're not just boxed into one or two things. Like I thought, I'm going to come back here and tuck myself into the velour. This is 100% polyester. It's going to hold up really well. And I want you to take a look at this. So I wanted to stay with the green, but I really wanted to go with these golds as well. Because the room has a lot of cream to it on the walls, I don't necessarily want to go with a gold, because if I do, what happens is that warmness of the gold is going to be competing with what's on the wall. So I'm going to go with the green because I really want this to frame. And I think that when I go with this green, I can pick a pre-made cording that will tie the two together. So I'm going to go get this cut. And then once I have that, we're going to go back over and look at the cording and see if that works for us. Okay? We'll see. I'll see you in a few. All right, so we have the fabric, and as I was saying earlier, we can probably go with a pre-made cording and tie in a few more colors to that accent piece around the pillow. Let's see. So I've got the piece of needlework here and the velour that we're going with the pillow. And it's a really substantial velour, so it's going to hold up well. I joke that babies tend to puke on everything. They should be able to get that off of this one. But going here, I have thought maybe something like this, but I think this green in here has a little too much blue in it. I think this has a little too much color, too many colors. And I was thinking of something like this. It'll give a little bit of splash to the edge of the pillow as we go around. And it also does a good job of tying into this blue right in here. That way we can acknowledge the blue without it having to be a dominant presence in the design. So I like what she did with the different colors, and we can just let that little bit of blue peek in without it having to be so much of a presence. So let me get this cut, and we'll be through with this part of our shopping. So
here are the supplies or the pattern pieces, the project that we're going to be going under the needle today. You will recognize this from the fabric that I chose at the upholstery shop. You can see that the green really captures not only the green but also the yellows and golds in here. I really like it. I want to practice a little bit more. I say this on every video. These sewing tutorials are done by me in a place where I'm at right now in my sewing journey or learning. So I want to practice a little more on this before I commit to this over here. I mean, it's a beautiful piece. Celeste did a beautiful job. It's going to be cherished and loved in a nursery for years to come. So, you know, kudos to you, Celeste, for doing such a wonderful job. I want to really treat this with the respect it deserves. So I'm going to start here, and we're going to work this out before we handle that one. But I'll let you see how both of them end up in the end. We've got the cording, you'll notice. It's beautiful. I really like it. It pulls in some of these blues too. Now, one thing that I will be using, obviously, is a cording foot, piping foot. Now, this is going to be for the Janome HD9. I know I sewed on that last time, but I sew on an HD9 at home, and I purchased this foot, so we're going back to the HD9. One thing that I did notice, and you'll see this when we're sewing, is the cording here. The cording here doesn't have to fit. It's not to fit inside. This is just a big enough groove to hold it in place as it runs under the needle. So I will actually not be stitching on this right here. This is how I'm going to line it up. Really, the cording foot is going to stitch inside the cording there. And it surprised me. And because we have these curves, it's going to be a little bit easier to get on. So we've got the cording foot. We're also going to be working with the zipper foot, possibly. If we have to get in really close, we'll do that. And then I always brought my little tiny, you know, this guy. This guy is amazing. So we may even use that. Now this is a tab. And not like the drink, but like the... well, a tab. This cording is very difficult to finish off. We're going to come around this whole thing, and when those cordings meet, either you have to unbraid this and braid one end into the next, which is quite difficult. If you're using a rolled, or a rolled, not braided, but a rolled cording, you can actually do that much easier. On this one, I'm going to use a tab. So when these come together at the very end, I'm just going to butt them up against each other, and then this is going to go around them and get sealed in like that. I have no problem with doing that. I like to add different surfaces, different little pops of color, texture. We got a little checkerboard pattern in here that's in the color scheme. I love that. And you'll see this soon enough, that in the zipper, I went ahead and did this blue. We've got a little blue in here, and I always will do a shock of color when I am doing something. If it's inside a pocket or it's a zipper, so you're not going to see that. This right here, I went ahead and did this so it would be hidden. This pillow is going into a nursery, so I want to make sure that the zipper pull is not, you know, not present. What else? Those, my Ginger scissors. I never really thought scissors were all that important. Of course, I kept my fabric scissors away from my paper scissors and so on. But then I got these. And I'm telling you, these will cut through anything. And I have great love for these. So we're going to go over to the shop. Oh, one more thing. And we've got this. Now, the reason I am showing you this is because this is my pattern. There is no hard and fast rule for your patterns for pillows because it's going to fluctuate so much. So I sketch it out, figure out what my patterns are. I sketch it out and I check again and again and again before I put scissors through this. So I feel pretty confident at this point, but I'm still going to refer back to this, particularly for the needlepoint pillow. And this brings us to a very simple measurement, and we're going to talk about this. It's the size of the pillow. I bought two pillow inserts. There's going to be one for this and one for the bigger one. I know that, just take this one for example. This is 16 inches across. It's a square of 16 inches that I start with. Now it's going to be less than that because we're going to have seam allowances and so on. My pillow form is a 20-inch pillow form. This is 16 cut, 20-inch pillow form. So there's 4 differences, 4 inches of difference there. The reason for that is you don't want a flat pillow. You want a nice rounded stuffed cushion. So my rule of thumb is whatever your finished size should be, you need to get a pillow that's 4 inches bigger. So I've got on this one a 20-inch pillow. On this piece here, I have a 24-inch pillow, and this is going to be finished 20 inches. So we'll come back to that when we're stuffing it, but for now, let's get over to the sewing machine, and we're going to get one of these feet on and get stitching. It's not that difficult, so let's go do it. Okay, I'm going to stop right here and share with you that the practice pillow did exactly what it was meant to do, and that is to allow me to mess up so that I can learn. I certainly messed this up by putting the cording on upside down, but like I said, by going through the steps on this pillow, I was able to test out not only the positioning of the cording, but also my theory on pillow size versus the size of the slip cover, what was going to be the best installation method for the zipper, and how it was to work with a fabric that had a directional nap. I filmed most of the video before I figured this out, before I realized what I had done, so I continued to finish the pillow and have that as a sample, so you'll see that here in a second. I am certain that there were some absolute gems of wisdom and probably something funny, I don't know. But in order to shorten the video, I thought I'll just go ahead and cut that part out. So if it seems a little disjointed because I jumped from here to there or wherever, that's because, yeah, I made a mistake. Totally fine with that. I own it, and let's move on. But like I say over and over again, do a sample, run a test. Now, you're not always going to have the fabric and the time to do an entire test like the whole pillow, but run a seam, do something so that you know what you're about to do. When the needle goes through your fabric, you're not wasting fabric. Here we are back at the table, and I'm about halfway through the project, or a little more than halfway through. But as you saw, I put this on completely wrong. And it looks good here. I mean, it's a really nice finish, but when you flip it over, you've got this piece of the tab that sews in. Now, the way it sews in kind of looks like a little rickrack or a nice little like flourish on the back with these little scalloped edges. I probably could pass that off to my friend and say, look, I did this double-sided cording that has a little, I could try that, but she's a pretty shrewd character, so, she's a friend, would never do that. So here's the pillow. It's really nice, it's really stuffed, but we have got to look at what I learned from this and apply it to the final pillow. So again, I've got to make sure that I put this on correctly. I love the zipper enclosure here. It keeps it nice and tight. It stretches out really nice. I did make a little bit of a difference in the cut in the corners, so I brought them in a little bit more. They still don't look dog-eared. They look kind of nice. And this guy right here, I was kind of worried about that tab to close those off, but I really like it. It gives the pillow a little accent that you're not expecting, and it ties in some greens and just looks nice. The nap is going all the right way. Now, I have to say that, so just truth be told, I was cutting all my scraps of fabric, or I was cutting the last pieces for the main pillow, when it occurred to me that I had to make sure that everything was going right with the nap. Now, I had done that before and had really kind of marked my fabrics like this, so I knew which way it was going. However, when I started to cut the last pieces, I realized that getting them with the correct direction of the nap it just began getting less and less and less fabric, and I came to the very last cut, and That is how much I had left over. Right there. So maybe a half an inch at this end, 3/4, but that is what I had left over. So this next pillow has to work. So let's bring this guy in. We've got this all trimmed out now. She did a beautiful job on this. This bunny looks great. And now I have the back that I will be attaching all the cording to. I need to trim my zippers here. How I did my zipper is I just sewed it right sides together on both, and then on the top I folded it down to the bottom of where the zipper tape is, and that gives me enough room to hide this. And as you saw on the other pillow, this goes flat very nicely, so it's going to the pull is going to hide out there. We don't want babies choking on any zipper pulls, but I will trim these. And let me go ahead and mark my center here, because I do need to know where I'm starting and stopping. Well, it sounds like my voice is still changing. Here we go. So let me just mark right there. Give me a little notch. And now I know where I'm going to go. I am going to attach the binding all the way around, and I'll show you how I'm attaching it differently so it doesn't do like the pillow over there. So we really get the best, out of this one. All right, I've cleared some of the stuff away so that I have a little better, space to put this on. Now, what I found on the pillow, and you know, failure is a very amazing learning process. So if that's the case, I have lots of learning on this one. I made a lot of learning. So here's what I did wrong. This piece right here, I had put on this way. So I did this, and this rolls in. See, it rolls in. The problem is, when you stitch through this, it shows, and that's what happened to the pillow. Now, if I put it on the other way, like this, I'm putting it on upside down, like that, we can come right into the side there and tack that down so that when we use the foot to hold this in place, like I showed you, this is going to stitch into the cording. It's not going to stitch right here, because you want that hidden. You want that hidden. And this is what it looks like. So when you do it properly, you can see right there, that cord sits right at the joining from the front to back. And it has a lot of really good strength to it. So I think I've said this before, the cord, besides adding a lot of really good finishing pop, I mean, it's really nice and elegant, but it also, once you are tied into that cord, this is much stronger. So this is like a pliable framework that goes all the way around. So I'm going to put this aside. I have got my Wonder Clips that Marissa here had divided into all the separate colors. Gotta love working with somebody that's that neat. We also have to really watch our fabric around here, because we don't want her chasing us around with the rotary color. She's rolling her eyes right now. But so it's all mixed up, and I'm going to start tacking this on. Here is my center point. I made that notch there. So I'm going to overlap that, because when this comes around and I cut that apart, then I have that tab to close them off together. And let's see, that's the tab I'm talking about. So I have another piece over there that's pressed and ready to go. And so I'm going to start putting on my cording again. Let's try this again. Let's see, bring this up and just get that down. Now it's really nice, because the Wonder Clips, the length of them from the tip to where you have the spring is just about the same. So I can put the clips on, hold that in place, and flatten this out all the way around. Okay? I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you a little peek once it's done, and then we'll head back over to the sewing machine, and this time actually sew it correctly. So I'll see you then. All right, I'm back at the table. Well, no, I was at the table before. I'm back to the end of this. I wanted to just show you, so I've got this clipped all the way around. Let me show you what I discovered in getting this flat. So if you take your cord and you twist it, that's going to push that that tab out. I don't know what should I call that. I mean, in the comments, let me know what that is. I'm just calling it like a tab. It's I don't know. So we're going to come around here to this corner. It's hard to see with the clips on top of it. We're just going to notch. Just take a couple notches. It really does have a great deal of bias stretch, so it's pretty easy to get into the corners, but you just want to make sure you twist that out and pull that to the edge, because you need to keep that at the edge so that this has enough cording in this corner so that when you roll it out, this is now going to be on the outside, so it needs to have some kind of bunching at this point. But we're getting around that corner, and you can see how this is really pronounced now. So I'm going to be going in here with my zipper foot to attach this, to do like a basting stitch, just to tack it down. It makes it so much easier when you have the cording foot on and they're sewing it down. Yeah, we got some phones going off, which is fine. We shoot in an active store most of the time, and I've said this on videos before, we like our customers to kind of get a chance to see what we do social media wise. They watch us on YouTube, but they get to see how it is created. So I've twisted that. Now, what I need to do is to cut these, join these, and then put this tab around it so it will seal these together. So I'm going to come up here. I've got my gingers here, which are brilliant. I love these things. I'm going to steal a clip from over here, and let me cut this down. So that's going to be right here. Just cut through that pretty easily. And now I'm going to put that right here, because I've got to get that other one right up against it. I'm going to put the E6000 glue there so that they stay attached, but I mean, that'll dry, but it'll also allow me to get that tab right there. Okay, so we came out with a little extra, which is nice. And let's pull this out as well. Gonna be careful with this stuff because it tends to gunk up, like I said before. And let's put this under first. So we're just gonna put that right there in the middle. And then these guys are going to get glued together right here. Okay, so let's apply some of that. The reason I have this strip here is because sometimes you have to wipe off the excess glue so it's not, see, you've got a lot of trailer there. So let's put that a nice big dollop. And then, so we got the dollop. Let's squeeze it together, kind of mash those up, get those turned in where they need to go, which is right about there. I'm going to hold those together, and I'm going to bring this over and very firmly hold that in place. So we've got that tab that joins the end, and make sure you're right at the fabric's edge, and bring this back, and then do a nice tight roll so it lies beautifully flat. So see right there, and we are going to stitch across there, and that's going to keep those two ends butted up against each other until they glue. This glue takes, you know, they like to say, okay, now I'm missing, let's still this one and put it on here. They say it takes about 8 hours to dry. Usually overnight you get a really good, you really get a nice kind of drying consistency about 24 hours. Now let me see here. I believe this is on both sides. Yeah, so we've got it right there. I'm gonna smooth that out real quick. There we go. So I'm probably gonna start right here and go around this way. I wanna secure that first because I don't want that being pulled and mushed around and those ends start to break apart from one another. So, oh, I had another pin. All right, I'm going back to the machine. I'm going to use my zipper foot to go around to tack this down, and then we'll get the cording foot to finish it off. So it looks good. Everything is where it's supposed to be. I will see you over at the sewing machine. The sewing machine. Couldn't get that word out. As you can see, I'm back here at the machine. I want to point something out here. So you see, you're going to see this on both cameras, this bag that I have here. This is the Logie bag. If you did not see the video that we posted, I guess about 2 weeks ago, on the Logie bag, take a look at it. This is just one of the bags that I whipped up. It took no time at all. And this has kind of become like a little carrying pouch thing. So when I bring supplies from home to do some of my tutorials, I'll bring it in that. So it's really kind of been great for me. I'm going to put this out of the way and let's get to sewing. So we're going to start, like I said, right here before that tab, because I kind of want to make sure it is set in place and then I don't have to worry about it again. All right. So let's lift up the pressure foot and we're going to put it right there. So as long as we keep this flat, we should be okay. And we will get the proper turnout of the cording. So I am taking off my shoe. That means we're in business, and I'm getting my stiletto. Where is my stiletto? Oh, well, that's no good. All right. Boom, I've got a stiletto. We'll make it out of this. So let's anchor this stitch in. And if we rolled everything like we were supposed to roll it to lay it flat, we should be okay. So let's just continue. I may not need a stiletto for this, but I really do want this tight. Let me bunch up my fabric here so it's not hanging on anything. And let's get that right in there. And let's raise our foot and pop that under. There we go. So we should be good. And I'm going to drop my needle because this machine knows wherever you drop your needle, wherever the needle is at the beginning of the stitch, it's going to end up there. So as I'm turning and making these curves, I want to make sure that that needle is down into the fabric so that I don't have things shifting on me. So let's get this right here. There we go. We're just going to tuck this in a little bit more. So if we get this right, then that's a lot of stuff we don't have to think about coming up. So let's get this under. All right, and again, I'm going to go ahead and lift this up and put that in place. And now we're just going to go ahead and continue on here and get all the way over off this little tab, and now we're good. We should be pretty good from here on out. So I'm going to start pulling these tabs off, or I'm sorry, these clips off, so I can get this tacked down. The buttonhole, or not the buttonhole, the zipper foot is doing just perfectly for this cording. This is what I was looking for on the last one, and as I was struggling with that cording, it really kind of took its toll. So let me get rid of some of these clips and get all the way around. I'm going to start taking off some of these and bringing this around. So yeah, let's get that in place. We want to make sure that we're staying on that curve. We don't want to miss it. So let's get these. Yeah, let's start to turn this. We're going to unclip that so I can get around there. And yeah, I'm really missing my stiletto. Can't believe I forgot it. I'm pretty much a creature of habit. So whatever the equipment is I use at home, I try to bring it in, and that way I don't have to get something else, here in the store. All right, we're going to continue going around. And let's get this curve so I can look up from my machine. 1 second. We'll have someone right with you, sir. Pardon me. Okay, they're going to be right over there. Sorry. Yeah, I had to direct somebody here. Like I said, we are a functioning store, and I want to keep that. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little off. All right, so we're going to continue on around. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's nice to get some speed on this thing. I feel like I'm just picking it, just little pieces. So, all right. So, I'm going to get you past the zipper here, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish this out. So let me, again, I'm rolling my cording back. Cording wants to pull in and you'll stitch into it if you're not careful. However, you are going to be stitching into it eventually anyway. So, I really wish I had my stiletto. I'm not a big fan of using a screwdriver, but anyway, we're doing it. Okay, so we're going to get over this and get that here. The machine will handle this just fine. And here. There we go. So I'm going to continue around. Once this is done, we'll take a look at it. We will sandwich it with the front, finally, after all this time. And we're very, very close to doing it. And to doing it correctly. You know, gotta love that. All right, we are back at the sewing machine with the final pillow, with the cording turned the right direction, all the nap on all the pieces are going in the right direction. This is it, people. This is what we have been training for. So let's get this done. I am going to start here on the side. You can see I'm using a lot of clips. If you have clips and you want to make sure it's not going to shift, use the clips. Take time. I actually finished all this up and realized I had one clip left, and I just put it on there because I didn't understand a world where I would use all the clips except for one. I mean, that's just rude. So we know we're serious about the sewing because the right shoe has come off. And let's get this underneath. So I'm going to really have to lift this up to get that in the guide. I mean, this is a thick rope. And remember, we are going to be stitching through the rope, through the cording. So don't be afraid. I'm going to take my stitch. We're going to put it down about 2.5. Should be good. Let's see what we've got here. I'm going to start with my needle down so that whenever I stop, of course, I'm going to have the needle down, and that way I can make my maneuvers. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to use my finger right here and feel where that rope is, because I've mentioned this before, that opening under here is not big enough to take that whole piece in. You've got this little groove here that allows the rope to sit in, and you can have a better guide that way. But here we go, and let's see. Let's just do this, people. All right. You gotta love the straight parts because they you don't have to worry about that turn or anything. Now we are going to be coming up to a turn here, and I want places like this where my fabric's joined to make sure that they are flat, and I am going to get this up here, and I'm going to get to the corner and make this turn. Let's see if I can get this turn done before I have to stop for a moment. right. There we go. Okay. So take it slow, and I'm going to just continue pulling this around. There we go. That's good. I'll tell you what, having all these clips on here is really helpful. And I don't have to undo the clips if I don't want to, because, you know, that's above the clips and I'm not going to be running over them. So, although that looks a little like it's run over. Anyway, let's see, let me pull this up. You know, for now, my extension table, outside this table is kind of my belly. So, you know. Okay. Let's see here. This is a very heavy pillow cover. Very heavy. So I'm gonna have to roll that, because getting that to move is, you're moving a lot of weight here. You've got some thick fabric. You've got several layers of it. You've got the cording, which is very thick, but this machine is handling it nicely. So now we're right here at that, that tab where we join the two pieces. So let's get that under here, get that across. It's doing really well. We're just gonna keep going with that. There we go. Now I can feel my rope right through there. There we go. Okay, let's, I need to get inside there a little bit more. So if I had to kind of, I don't know, say what I have learned in this process, man, I have learned so much doing this. I've learned to trust myself, I'll tell you that. I think I mentioned this earlier, I want to live and sew a bit more fearlessly. I mean, you know, this is something that we love to do. I know it's something I love to do, and it's something I love to do for family. You know, family and friends. I'm using my talents to make, you know, make people happy. So, which brings me to a talking point. At what point do you draw the line? At what point do you draw the line and say, you know, I just can't do this for all my friends or for all my family? Because you all know, if you sew and you've got a sewing machine, you've heard the phrase, can you sew this from me? Speaking of which, there's a Instagram account called Can You Sew This For Me? And it is, it's pretty funny. It's all the people that ask you to do things because they know you have a sewing machine. And a lot of times because they're too cheap to go to the tailor themselves. But anyway, I digress. Check that out on Instagram, though. It's pretty funny. If you are a sewist and you do a lot of sewing and your friends know you sew, check this out because it's pretty funny. And now we're coming up here to that zipper, and it's going to get a lot thicker for just a second. But what I want to do, most machines will do it really well if you keep a steady pace through it. This guy will start and stop really well and not have an issue with this bulk. But let's help him out a little bit. So I'm just going to use my stiletto, which is, you know, I guess this is my work stiletto. There we go. See, we got up on the hump there. Looks like my thread is shredding. So I am going to check that, probably thread my machine, and yeah, so I'm going to just lift this guy up and pull this out. I think in this, I don't want to run out of my bobbin thread once I start, so I may just go ahead, load my bobbin thread a little bit more, and rethread my machine. Something's going right here. I may even change the needle. We'll see what we can do. Okay, so I'll be back in a moment. All right, back at it. So I went ahead and changed the needle. I filled up the bobbin case. One challenge that you have with a machine like this is because you're going to be using Tech 70 thread or like a 30 weight or a 20 weight. This thread tends to be wiry and kind of slick, so when you're winding the bobbin, you have to be really careful because if it gets any slack in it, it will just come unwound, like it'll just from the inside out. And when that happens and you're sewing, you get a lot of skipping, like it's jerky and then not jerking because you're going up against something that is tight and then loose and then tight and loose, so you don't want to do that. So I went ahead and rewound that, put a new needle in. I hope that will address what I was having problems with, and let's get it here. So now we're ready to go. Again, we're going over the zipper, and I had talked a second ago about, making sure that we make that jump pretty easily. And you've got that tab is right here that we're trying to jump over. So just going to, and there we go, right over the zipper. That was good. Perfect. And let's just keep going. Yeah, everything looks good. We're coming up to another curve. So let's I'm going to thread broke, so let's try this again. Okay, let's try this one more time. I have mentioned before that we are an operating store for part of the time that we are filming. There we go. So if you hear any noises or voices, it's usually our customers having a good time at our store. So because we are an operating store while we're filming, there are times I need to get up and help with customers, or because we all sell here. So all right, now we're going to go back under. We got the new needle. We have a loaded bobbin. We got all the good stuff. Now I just need to get back to the sewing, and just so you know, I'm serious. The right shoe has come off, and let's see what we've got going here. All right, we're gonna need to anchor this stitch, and it helps so much when you turn on your machine. There we go. All right, look at all those colors. What beautiful colors. So, all right, there we go. Okay, so now we're in the turning. Remember, this turning, you want to, and you are turning your pillow cover to go right on that cording, and it's going really well. So let's continue going around with that. It's beginning to drop off on this side. Now, if I had the extension table, which I didn't get out because I thought it was locked away, not locked away, but stored already, and it wasn't. It turned out to be just a few feet from me. So, all right, I am so ready for this to be done. Not because it hasn't been a really great learning experience. It's been a fantastic learning experience. I have, an ulterior motive for doing this as well. If you have dogs, you know that sometimes they claim your sofa as their own. And if not the whole sofa, then some pillows. And I know we've got we've got several pillows that have seen better days because they've seen lots of nights with puppies on them. So I've purchased some really pretty fabric from this same place where I got this fabric, and it's I'm looking forward to getting some of those sewed up, and refreshing the living room and the sofa. I'm sure my dogs will take to them as well, but you know, just like this one, I'll be putting in zipper backs to them, and you know, can get them washed or cleaned, whatever. We are dangerously close to getting this one done, so I am going to guide this through the corner as best as I can and get a nice curve there. And here we go. Fantastic. This is when my stiletto's gonna come in nicely. There we go, and we're just gonna give it a little incentive there. Possibly bring this up so I don't have so much weight sitting in my lap, and by in my lap I mean against my belly. Yeah, you know, black shirts don't hide everything. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do the whole zipper portion. Get up there. And that was the zipper that we were going through. Now that's a nylon zipper, so it is absolutely fine to sew on top of. It's not going to damage your needle. And you know, at the end of this, I'll cut this off with my rotary tool or my scissors. By the way, have I mentioned that I got a new pair of gingers? I'd never had them before. I have been the guy that has stayed true to, oh, what's it called? Okay, I'm shredding thread again. Let's see what that's going on. Let's go ahead and stop that and see what we've got here. So let's take a look at this. Let's go ahead and pull up my needle, and you can see, I'm gonna pull this out. You can see right here, this is shredding, and I'm not sure why. And it is right in here. It's getting stuck in my needle or the guide to my needle. For some reason, I'm not sure why that is. I have an 18 needle, which should have a pretty good sized hole on it. This thread is not that thick that an 18 shouldn't work. Maybe I should go up when I'm working with this thread. So, you know what? I am gonna go and see if I got a bigger needle, and we're gonna try this again. Because I think what I'm gonna need to do is these places where that was kind of shredding, I don't want that to pop off. So, or I may just do this entire seam one more time up this side and then try a experiment later. I really do want to be done with this. Again, not because it's been problematic, it's just been going on a while. And I would absolutely like to be working on another Tip Tuesday, you know. Let's do something else. And if you've got a request for a Tip Tuesday, let me know. My whole goal here is, and I mentioned this earlier, my goal is to experiment with all the machines we have here. You know, this sewing, this craft, this act of sewing is, man, it spans so many eras and cultures and just varieties of sewing, you know. And although we do get a substantial number of customers that are quilters, and we sell sewing machines for all kinds of people. In fact, this sewing machine, this HD9, we have a customer, and what she makes is leather Santa hats. Santa Claus hats, but they're leather. And she cannot keep them in stock when it's the Christmas season. Just apparently a lot of people like leather Santa hats. It goes real well with the Renaissance Festival goers. They do like it. It's I can understand that. And she's a fabulous seamstress or sewist, or let's see. Okay, we're just going to try this one more time. I just want to get this seam up and gone. In fact, I'm going to take off all my clips, and we're going to just kind of tear through here. We're going to do this one last seam just to make sure it is good to go. It feels structurally really quite good, so I'm not even sure I need to go over it. Let's see. I think everybody's good. You know what? I'm just going to do this little seam right here just for my own peace of mind. So right here. And we are just going to just knock this out real quick. Okay, here we go. All right, I think we are good. All right. Yeah, I think that's nice. So we're going to get up from here. We're going to turn this bad boy out and finish this project. So this is the pillow that I talked about in the video. This is the one that was a mistake, but even as a mistake, it looks really, really nice. Has great form to it, but you still have this tab back here that is the problem. So here is the final project. Now I said in the intro that I never really liked a cushion or a pillow that I made because the proportions seemed off. Well, I have put that to rest. I absolutely love this pillow. It is buttery soft, this suede-like fabric that is going to be completely, well, I wouldn't say completely resistant to baby puke, but if this is in a nursery and some child vomits on this, I think they can get this cleaned up and refreshed with a little brush. You'll see that the piping, the cording right here is perfect. And it wasn't that hard to do. You saw me at the machine. It went really easy with that presser foot, and you're going to find those same presser foots for all your machines. This one just happened to be mine for the HD9. And look at this. The zipper on this thing is just fantastic. And I did this so that I wouldn't have anything hanging out that a baby might choke on. This zipper was incredibly easy to install. It's probably the easiest zipper you'll ever install. And let me know in the comments below if you want a tutorial on how I did this. But just to look at it is beautiful. I'm just really excited for this. So this is going to go out to my friend, who is then going to give it to her granddaughter for her great-grandson. Yes. So Celeste, you did a beautiful job on the needlepoint, and I really think that it's going to look perfect inside the nursery. If you liked what you saw today, please leave us a like and subscribe. We do these videos once a week, and if you have a topic that you think you would like to see a video on, please leave a comment below, and we will look into it. I'm Sean from Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse in Houston, and remember, at the sewing table, there's always room for everyone. We'll see you next time.